The United States is planning on economic sanctions against Russia over Moscow's military buildup near Ukraine. Some senior senators from both the Democratic and Republican parties say they are very close to reaching a deal on sanctions, and it could come as soon as this week. Senior Biden administration officials will hold a classified briefing for all senators on Thursday. Meanwhile, in Russia, Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov said Moscow will ask NATO to clarify whether it intends to implement key security commitments. This suggests Moscow intends to leave diplomacy open. And in Britain, Prime Minister Boris Johnson is announcing to offer NATO a, quote, major deployment of troops, weapons, warships and jets.
The UK has announced that it is considering doubling the number of troops that it currently has in the region. Right now, there's somewhere of around 1,150 UK troops based in Eastern Europe. These would be additional to the small contingency that's being sent over from the US. The UK is also saying that they would like to send defensive weapons to Estonia. The Prime Minister of the UK, Boris Johnson, says that this move will send a clear message to the Russian President Vladimir Putin, who has built up quite a substantial military presence along 3 different Ukrainian fronts. The Prime Minister of the UK, Boris Johnson, tweeted earlier on Sunday that the picture on Ukraine's borders looked increasingly concerning and urged Russia to engage in negotiations and avoid a reckless and catastrophic invasion. The British Prime Minister is expected in the region next week and is expected to hold a telephone conversation with the Russian president. Meanwhile, NATO troops may be gathering in Eastern Europe. However, according to the Secretary General of NATO, Jens Stoltenberg, they will not be crossing the border and joining the troops in non-NATO Ukraine.
We have no plans to deploy NATO combat troops to Ukraine. NATO allies have trainers there. We help them from NATO with building capacity, modernizing their defenses, including their cyber defenses.
Meanwhile, here in the east of the country, the situation is quite calm. In fact, some people even saying possibly too calm. But if we look at the figures, according to the Organization of Security and Cooperation in Europe, they have a security monitoring mission in this area. They have registered 11 violations in the Donetsk Oblast, which is where we are right now, in the last 24 hours. But if you look at the previous 24 hours from that, the number was upwards of 173. However, military exercises do continue near the conflict lines here on the Ukrainian side. And we're also continuing to see Ukrainian civilians sign up to become army reservists in order to help support the Ukrainian army should Russian forces cross the border into the Ukraine. In fact, Kiev is hoping to establish these sort of reservist military forces in every region close to the conflict zone. Natalie Carney for CGTN, East Ukraine.